On February 3, 2026, something unprecedented happened in the stock market. Software companies, legal tech firms, and financial services lost $285 billion in market value in just one day. But here's the thing, it wasn't a hack, or a scandal, or even bad earnings. It was a single AI tool released by a company you might not have heard of. And I'm going to show you exactly how this happened, who's affected, and whether your job is on the chopping block. On January 30, 2026, a company called Anthropic, the creators of Claude AI, dropped something into the market that nobody saw coming. They released 11 plugins for a tool called Claude Cowork. And less than 3 weeks later, on February 3, the market absolutely freaked out. Goldman Sachs reported their basket of US software stocks sank 6% in a single day. That's the biggest one-day decline since April's tariff sell-off. But here's where it gets wild, legal software companies got hit even harder. Thomson Reuters plummeted 18%. RELX fell 14%, their worst day since 1988. And analysts started using a term you're going to hear a lot, SaaSpocalypse. Think about every software subscription your company pays for. DocuSign for contracts, Salesforce for customer management, legal research platforms, Adobe for documents. All of these companies saw their stock prices crater because investors suddenly realized, wait, if AI can do this work, why are we paying these monthly subscriptions? The sell-off wasn't just limited to the US. European markets got hammered. The London Stock Exchange Group faced its steepest decline in 5 years. Indian IT giants like Infosys and TCS dropped 6%. This was a global panic. So what exactly did Anthropic release that caused this much chaos? Let me show you. Claude Cowork isn't just another chatbot. It's what's called an agentic AI, meaning it doesn't just answer questions, it actually does tasks for you. It was launched on January 12, 2026 as basically Claude Code for knowledge workers, people who don't code but need to manage documents, organize files, draft contracts, analyze data. Most software companies take months or years to build features like this. Anthropic did it in under 3 weeks. And here's the kicker, these aren't basic tools. The legal plugin can review contracts, track compliance, summarize legal briefs. The sales plugin connects to your CRM system and handles prospect research. The finance plugin builds forecasting models and analyzes financial data. But what really scared Wall Street wasn't just what these plugins could do. It was how they work. Unlike traditional software that requires implementation teams, training programs, and expensive consultants, Claude Cowork plugins are file-based. You can literally drag and drop them. Morgan Stanley analysts wrote, "This heightens competition within the space. We view this as a sign of intensifying competition, and thus a potential negative." Morningstar noted, "This is the first direct push into legal technology by a major large language model provider." Now you might be thinking, okay, it's a cool tool, but who's actually using this? Claude Cowork is specifically designed for knowledge workers. That's anyone whose job primarily involves working with information rather than physical goods. Lawyers, sales teams, financial analysts. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, knowledge workers make up roughly 40% of the US workforce. That's over 60 million people. And Anthropic just released a tool that can automate significant portions of all their jobs. Let's get specific. The legal plugin can review a 100-page contract in minutes, flag potential issues, check for compliance, and summarize key terms. Tasks that would take a junior associate hours. The sales plugin can research a prospect's company, identify pain points from news and social media, and draft personalized outreach, work that would take half a day. But wait, you might think big companies won't adopt this. Wrong. Anthropic's CEO Dario Amodei revealed that enterprises account for 80% of their business. Claude Code, the developer tool, hit $1 billion in annualized recurring revenue within 7 months of launch. Companies are rushing to adopt this. KPMG reported AI agent pilots nearly doubled in 1 quarter. Gartner predicts that by 2028, 33% of enterprise software will include agentic AI. And Deloitte, IBM, BCG, all the major consulting firms agree, 2026 is the year AI agents go from experimental to essential. Some analysts argue this is an overreaction. AI handles routine tasks, but still needs human oversight. In this view, tools like Claude Cowork make workers more productive, not obsolete. Anthropic explicitly states that legal outputs should be reviewed by licensed attorneys. Complex work requiring judgment and relationships remains human territory. The more likely scenario is the squeezed middle displacement. Entry-level and routine work gets automated. Senior strategic roles remain, but that middle layer, that's where the disruption happens. Companies might hire one person with AI instead of a team of 3. You don't lose all the jobs, but you lose a lot of them. And you definitely lose the career ladder. If 40% of the workforce is knowledge workers, and companies reduce headcount by even 20%, that's potentially 12 million jobs affected in the US alone. The third scenario is more radical. What if we're fundamentally changing what work means? Software as a service gave us pay per month. What if AI gives us pay per task? Why pay for an expensive legal research subscription when you can pay $10 for AI to analyze your specific contract right now? Why employ a full-time sales team? The $285 billion sell-off suggests investors believe we're heading towards scenario 2 or 3. They're pricing in significant disruption. But here's what most people are missing. Every single one of these 11 plugins is completely open source. You can see exactly how they work. You can build your own. Anthropic even released a meta plugin, a plugin specifically designed to help you create other plugins. Claude Cowork throws traditional enterprise software out the window. A 10-person startup can now deploy the same level of sales automation that used to require a Salesforce instance costing $50,000 a year. A solo lawyer can now do contract review that used to require a team from a major firm. And because it's open source, the community will build on it. Within months, there could be hundreds of specialized plugins. Within a year, thousands. Each one chipping away at another specialized software category. Another traditional job. For decades, junior positions existed to do grunt work, but also to train. Junior lawyers reviewed documents to learn. When AI handles these tasks, where do people learn? The jobs that survive are ones requiring genuine creativity, complex negotiation, building deep client relationships, making strategic decisions under uncertainty. If your job can be reduced to a process or checklist, start worrying. When AI tools exist, employers will expect you to use them. The baseline for productivity is about to skyrocket. One person with AI assistance should do the work of 2 or 3 without it. Which means if you resist these tools, you're not just less productive, you're uncompetitive. Unlike the digital divide, this one moves faster. You might have a few years to adapt, not decades. There's already evidence of this. Anthropic reported Claude Code generated over $500 million in revenue just 4 months after launch. That's $500 million of developer time being automated. And that was before Cowork. Before these plugins, before we reached this inflection point. So here's what you actually need to know. First, don't panic, but don't ignore this. Start experimenting with AI tools now. Not tomorrow, not when your company mandates it. Now, Claude, ChatGPT, Perplexity, whatever you can access. Learn what they're good at. Understand their limitations, because the people who master these tools early will be the ones managing teams of AI-augmented workers later. If you're a business owner, your competitors are calculating how much they can save on headcount. You need to make the same calculation, but with a twist. How can you use these tools to do things your competitors can't? The companies that win won't be the ones that downsize fastest. They'll be the ones that redeploy human talent. If you're an investor, the sell-off might be an overreaction short-term, but the direction is clear. Traditional SaaS companies that don't adapt will die. New categories will emerge. Tools to manage AI agents, platforms to build custom workflows, services to help companies transition. If you're a student, pick skills that compound with AI. Don't become a contract reviewer, become someone who understands custom solutions. Don't become an analyst who runs reports, become someone who asks the right questions. Don't become a salesperson who qualifies leads, become someone who builds relationships that lead to strategic partnerships. Here's a simple test for whether your job is at risk. Can your core tasks be broken down into clear steps? Could someone write a manual for what you do? Does your work primarily involve processing information according to rules? If yes to all three, AI is coming for your role. Time to add skills that require intuition, creativity, or complex human interaction. So that's how one AI tool erased $285 billion and potentially threatened millions of jobs in a single day. This is a preview of a future where AI handles routine work. The question isn't whether AI will change your work. The question is whether you'll shape that change or be shaped by it. Choose wisely. Time's running out. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. See you on the next one.